I love how we do like this weird banter like before an intro song. It's great. It's because it has nothing to do with the rest of the podcast.
Well,
I love it.
I need something to do, but like I just like to test it. To be honest, it's for me. It's for the audio levels.
Yeah.
That when I'm listening to it, when I'm editing, that's really what it is.
Yeah, it's really that's just that. So cue the intro. Hello guys, it's Two Latin Brothers Podcast, also known as T.L.B.P. I'm Victor.
And I'm Adrian.
And today, Adrian has brought a guest.
Yeah, I brought a guest.
Or like he came to us.
Yeah, he came to us. I didn't bring him anywhere. I was like, yo, jump in my car, let's go. So we didn't do any of that. So
if you'd like to introduce yourself.
What's up, bro? How you been?
Oh, I'm good.
It's like, what's up? So Ari and I go back how many years now?
So far? Like I'd say?
No, I didn't go to that school, and I'm gonna censor that out just so no one knows.
Okay.
But what grade were you in?
I don't know. I think I was in grade 7, grade 8. I think you introduced me in the music class. Music class when I was playing saxophone. Then that's when we met. I'm pretty sure that's when we met.
Really?
Or it could have been
I think it was before that.
No, maybe kindergarten. You met Mac. You met Mac and
So for those who don't know, if you can go back and listen to it, Mac was friends with you.
Yeah,
you guys are pretty close.
Pretty close. Very, very close. Yeah,
yeah, and
childhood best friends, I would say.
Childhood
best friends. Yeah,
they were the second shadow to each other.
Yeah.
But I remember, I can't remember. Like they're like very like you know what? It's really ironic because I was like, oh, whenever I see you, it's like, oh, I've known him for like so long. Actually, the day I ran into you, because now we go to the same college.
Yeah,
sort of.
Yeah.
And then when I ran into you, someone when I went back to the group, like, who's that? I'm like, oh, an old friend of mine. They go, really? Like, how long have you guys known each other? And I couldn't remember. And they're like, how do you say they're your friend if you can't remember? Like, he's just always been there. I mean, there's no, like, it's just, I don't know. It was one of those interactions where I was like, I don't actually know how long it's been. Yeah. So he's saying grade 7. So like what? How many years has it been?
Been a while. I haven't.
So you were
for me and Mac, or for you, me and
for
you?
For me and you.
So
if you're saying grade 7,
well, if I'm gonna say it, that's when we met. I feel like we met earlier, but if I felt like our earliest memory was from music class, and it had to been probably 5 years since I met you back in college. Like we met grade 7, and then after in that period of time we didn't.
Wait, also because like you're 2 years younger than me.
Mm.
So that was when I was volunteering.
6 years,
man. 6 years, yeah. I think no.
No, I'm saying
no, man, because I've been in college for 5 years now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, but the last time I saw you,
8. Yeah.
Like it would have been like because we met grade 7.
Yeah, but then we went to the same high school together.
Yeah. And then I didn't see you for a while.
Yeah.
And then we saw each other at
like September of this year.
Yeah.
We ran into each other, or I think it was like early August because we were like both. Yeah, we were both planning to go to the college to do something.
Yeah,
I can't remember. We ran into each other then. There's so many people like that I know now. Like I'll run into like, hey, how you been? I'll be like, but they're when you run into someone and they go, hey, how you been? And they say your name. They go, hey, Adrian, how you been? And you go, hey, how you been? No idea.
No idea what their name is.
Hey, you. Like the other.
By the way, what was your name? I know who you were, but what was your name again?
There's this great moment. I think I've told it on the podcast, sorry, where this girl ran up to me, or I guess young lady at this point, ran up to me and she goes, hey, how you been, Adrian? It's been like forever. And I go, yeah, it's been like forever. It's been like since kindergarten, I think. And I go, yeah.
No idea.
What?
No clue who the person is.
Yeah, no clue. Yeah. And I kid you not, I came home. I have my kindergarten picture, like the class picture of when we graduated from kindergarten, hanging by my front door. First thing I did when I got home, I checked the picture. She's there. Oh my goodness. But then I checked grade 1. That's the only picture she's in the kindergarten picture. I left such a good impression in kindergarten. She remembered who I was.
Damn.
Either that or she's just a freak and remembers everything. She remembers everything.
Or she's just stalking everybody from kindergarten.
No, it was crazy. Like, I was like, this is insane. Like, my whole way home, I'm like, who is this person? There's no way we know each other. I don't know who this person is.
Makes sense, yeah.
I'm like, this is an imposter. I'm being stalked by someone who claims to know me.
Yeah.
And then I get home, like, oh, there she is.
It's the weirdest time.
Yeah, it's just weird stuff. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So for those who are listening for the first time, probably you are listening for the first time, what we usually do is when we have a guest on, depending on which brother brings on the guest, the other brother has to ask questions. This is more of like him to get to know my friends and people I've had in my life, or have had a significant thing in my life, or
done something in your life.
Done something memorable to me.
Yeah. That's
really what it is. I have a few memories with you that are kind of memorable, which I'm gonna talk about later. But you have the floor, Victor.
Yeah, so my first question is, well, you guys say you met in grade 7, but how was that first interaction? Do you guys remember how that interaction was? What was the first thing you guys said to each other?
I asked him, because he was a tutor or mentor for our music teacher. I forgot what his name was. He was Adrian was just playing the saxophone, and he had he played it really well. And I walked up to him and asked yo, can you teach me how to play the saxophone? Can you teach me how to I think that's one. I asked you how to give me tips and tricks.
Yeah, I think that's probably how it happened.
Yeah.
How do you play saxophone?
Well, no, because okay, so for those, I think have we talked about it?
Talked about what?
About how I play the saxophone?
We have talked about how we're musically oriented.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's just so many things that we've talked about at this point.
Yeah.
So when I was in high school, I want to say, I did a lot of volunteering at my elementary school in the music department because, to be honest with you, it's really the only thing I was good at back then. There was nothing else I was good at, ironically enough.
Yeah.
I was
makes sense.
I was bad at science, I was bad at math, I was bad at English, also I'm
Damn, just bad at everything.
I was bad at everything. My only good grade back then.
You're bad at everything.
No,
You're gonna have a good part, you're just bad.
Are you thinking about this? But when I was in grade 9, when I was volunteering back then,
yeah,
all of my classes were 60s, and then my music mark was a 98.
I mean, you still passed.
I mean, yeah, but
that's how it is.
But that's really reflective.
Yeah, of, your music talent. Yeah, obviously. Yeah,
it was just clearly, it was clearly visible what was going on. But it's really funny. And then, so I was volunteering a lot. There's a bunch of people who were a part of that. Actually, I think I had a conversation with the drama teacher. With the drama teacher, because she was my connection for me to get back into the school. And then the excuse was that because Victor was still a student there, I could go in as a guardian volunteer.
Yeah.
And then he graduated, and I'm like, you're no longer allowed in the building. Get out.
Well, you could just use Thomas's little sister and be like, she's basically like my sister.
I can't do that. That's just weird. Just some Latin boy walk up, yo, this is a white girl. It's she's like my sister. That's weird. Also, she's not there anymore. She's in high school now, so that doesn't work.
And it's not as somebody you could use, but you continue.
Anyway, so I'd say that was our first interaction. But the one moment I remember you, and it's probably the most memorable moment I think I've had, is when we played in the same band together for a year.
True.
Before I dropped out of music. And then I remember we were practicing this piece all together, and the guy who had the solo wasn't there, and then I was gonna play the solo, but then you stood up and played it, and I was just what? And even the music teacher stopped everybody after you finished, and he just shook your hand, and he's just that was amazing. Let me just start over, and I'll never forget that, because it was just
he stole my moment.
I was he stole my moment, but dang, he did it perfect. I'll never forget that, and
you're so cute.
Right? But it was one of those moments where I was oh my goodness, this is. I was if I had a little journal and we wrote down, this is the hour, the time this happened. But it was that, and that also too, because I remember back then you were struggling with being able to read music.
That's true.
And
that's true.
And then
that's very true.
It's just the struggle was real. I really felt it.
It's so true.
And then I remember the music teacher telling me how afterwards he had a conversation with me. He's like, did you tell him to do that? Because I thought you were gonna do it. I'm like, I was gonna do it, but like,
But,
like he just jumped in. Like, I don't know.
I did it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know.
I stole all the credit.
And then
another day of my life.
It's like that's where I peaked. It just went downhill from there.
Not downhill, but I'll be done with downhill. Let's just say that.
Yeah, no. Actually, Victor's friend who was on 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He was telling us that like being on this podcast, he's like, that's it, I've done it, boys. Like I bet.
He's like, hey mom.
I made it. I actually made it. That's like the biggest achievement I could ever have.
Yeah. And then I'm like, well, now it's just downhill from here.
Where you gonna go next, brother?
Yeah, man, if this is the peak, like this is downhill from here. I'm like, you gotta keep going up. This is clearly like the bottom of the mountain. There's no way this is peak level.
Yeah.
But it was really funny. We did there were a few performances we did. I remember the Christmas concert that we did that year.
Yeah, I remember the Christmas concert. Yeah.
We struggled with one of those pieces.
Yeah.
Like so hard.
Yeah.
Because it was like so true. Because it was like between like I remember like the melody part alternating between us and the clarinets.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, the clarinets were just had their act together. You know, like for like they had it down and we were like struggling or I think it was a mixture of both of us struggling. But like there was a part where like the saxophones and the clarinets would alternate the melody, and like whenever we had to be cued in, I remember our music teacher made us draw eyes on like the music right above it. Yeah. She's like, look at me so I can cue you. You guys gotta get this right. Yeah. Like it was just like stuff like that. That was so funny. And all of his analogies were like Spider-Man analogies. Do you remember that? Yes, for our music teacher.
That's very true.
Yeah, all of his literally all of his analogies were like Spider-Man related.
I really wish I had this teacher.
Oh yeah, because he's in music now and he doesn't have him as a music.
He was a legendary teacher, absolutely legendary.
You know, he's now teaching at like the greatest music school in the city now.
Really?
Yeah, I'll tell you later. But he's now like the department head for that school.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's the reality. It's like
he's a legendary teacher. Like everyone loved him.
I remember when
I loved him and I didn't even have him.
I remember when he told us he was leaving. We all cried. Actually,
I cried.
This one girl cried.
Yeah. Everyone. Yeah,
because we were in the music room. It was like at the end of the day, and then this one girl started crying. But then he has like people have that face that like you just see them crying, you instantly feel like crying.
Yeah.
So he has that face when he cries. So he sees this girl crying, and then he starts crying, and then we all started crying. Yeah. Then we all walked out there like just bawling our eyes out. We're like, well, what is?
Principal walks in. What's going on? The
principal's like, well,
no, we're just cutting onions. No, we're just cutting onions.
But it was really funny. Like, wow, in the music room? What do you guys? There's a kitchen like down the hall. What do you guys?
Man, someone cut the onions here. I don't know. They weren't allowed, but yeah, I mean,
we're like handing out knives. But yeah, like stuff like that. That like, I don't know. That was such an interesting time. And I remember the year.
I miss him so much.
You're missing so much.
Yeah, because like he was like. I don't know. He was literally like a father figure to me a lot of the time.
Oh yeah, he was very inspirational too. Like
he was just like one of the best teachers I could have ever had.
Did you have for science too?
No, he was just the department head of music.
Yeah, but he taught science back then, and
no, I only had him for music, and I only had him for my first like couple of years, and then that was it. And then he left, and then from then on, I never was actually in music. He was somebody that believed in me when I didn't know what music was. Mm-hmm. I remember a time where I didn't know how to play a piece of music. And for those of you who are actually not in the music industry, when you're in, people think it's just playing an instrument, just hitting like buttons and stuff, but it's actually extremely hard to get melodies down. Playing music and reading it and writing it, it's extremely hard, and you have to, it devotes like a lot of time, right? And so there's this one practice piece that I didn't do well. And I wanted to redo the practice piece. And when I wanted to redo it, I came to his office. I was like, I want to redo this practice piece. And he was just like, what? I'm like, I want to redo this practice piece. And he's like, you're asking to redo a practice piece. And I'm like, yeah, I want to redo it. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to go off on a bad note. And he was just like, okay, I'll just give you the keys to the room. And then he sent me the room. And then after he told one of his friend, who was also not friend, but like another professor, his colleague, yeah, he was like, he just asked me to practice a piece in the room. And then he's like, maybe I have some faith in him now, because he's like, I've never had a student actually come up to me and ask me to practice a practice piece, right?
Yeah.
Because there's always like just like tests, but
Yeah.
there's like a practice piece that we all recorded
Yeah.
and we sent to him, but they were never graded. But I wanted
Yeah.
to redo it.
Yeah.
And he was like, from then, and then he told me from that moment on, that's when I started believing you, Ari. I was like, I was shocked because like I never had a teacher that was like, or a professor just in general, like, well, just believe in me. And he's like, that was the moment when I truly believed in you, and that was the moment where I wanted to actually make you better in the music industry. And so I was so happy to have him. And then after he left, it was like,
after he left, like half of the people left the music.
Yeah.
Like,
I was part of that too.
Like after like so many people left. I remember the following year. I know 2 years after he left, I went to the Christmas concert, and I remember the band or the senior band at that time. We were like when he was there, it was like I don't know, like I want to say like almost 40 people.
Yeah.
But when he left, it went down to like 20.
Yeah, a lot of
I
people
was
left.
like, half of them or also because people left, but like because they graduated, but like also like just gone, like just left. They're like,
Yeah.
I'm out, I'm done, it's
Yeah,
over.
because the problem, also the only problem was too, was that his colleague was going to take in charge.
Yeah.
And no one actually had the best opinion of his colleague.
Yeah.
Everyone just liked him as a professor and as a teacher. That when he left, it felt like there was no other teacher or professor to teach.
Well, you know what's really interesting is that after he left,
yeah,
his colleague also left.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the year after.
Yeah.
So then the two people running the show essentially just left.
Yeah,
and, like,
and so they had to hire new people,
and like start from the ground up, and it was this whole thing, and now he has the result of that. But like the teacher the music teacher that they have now,
yeah,
he's all right.
He's
like,
all right.
He's not. I mean, not to say he's a bad teacher. He's just.
I can't say anything.
He's just not. He's not at that level.
He's not there. That's what you're trying to say.
I'm gonna have to edit that out. But there's levels, right? And then this is. I remember this one time when I was in stage band. We were doing this piece, and he goes, "You know what? Forget the drum part." And he sits down at the drums.
I remember.
And he started playing like this disco beat.
I remember
He's
that.
like, play it.
I remember.
And we started playing. And it sounded so much better. And he's like, guys, I think we should do it like this. And then we're like, wait, seriously? He's like, no, we're going to do it the original. The way it was written, because that's how it is. But like, I just want all of you know that this works. And we're just like, what? What's the purpose of this? He's like, I was just thinking about it while I was conducting.
Yeah.
It's like, but he had like I remember this one time we were playing. It was like the Mario, the video game Mario theme song, and it's like Super Mario, whatever. And he we were in the middle of it. And he's like, you know what? That sounds wrong. And the next day he came in handing out music sheets because he rewrote the entire piece for us.
Oh, that's monstrous.
That's like
monstrous level.
We're like, what?
That's actually
like
grandmastered,
yeah, it was insane. I was like, who is this man? Like, what is he doing? And I remember this one time he was like, you know what, change this note, make it this note. We're like, what? Yeah, just do it, go. Like, I don't like he's very talented. And actually he told us this one story before he left. He probably told you guys this story too, about how he had a student who was a percussionist, because he was a percussionist himself.
Yeah.
Who he went to I think a performance with this orchestra that his student was part of, and his student invited him. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll go. And his student was literally hitting, like, they had stripped down a piano and they had all the strings laying out on the floor, like at the back of the stage. And his student was with a chain in his hand whipping the strings. He's like, that's when you know you've made it in music. That's that moment right there. When you're like, we're going to take apart a piano and you're going to hit it with a chain.
What an experimental song.
No, but he's like, that's how I knew. And then he told us about this one time he got hired to play it, to be a part of this piece. And he's like, they told me to play the triangle. It's like, I played it twice. Once at the beginning and once at the end.
All you have to do is just
sit there and count.
Just sit there and count. Boom. You hit the beat.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you sit there and count. You hit the beat. And then boom, your job is done.
Yeah. And he says that, like, this one time though, he says, like, during one of the pieces, he, like, came in late because he just, like, zoned out entirely. It's like, I was just sitting there vibing, and then he's like, all of a sudden, like, it's like, all right. It's like waiting to hear the triangle. I'm like, oh, that's my job. Just stuff like that. Do you have another question, Victor?
Yeah. So clearly you liked music a lot. So, what's music for like you now? What kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to my lives. Say like hip hop artists and different.
Why wouldn't you be allowed?
Okay. No, just in case. So I listen to like all different types of genre, but my main type of music is rap and hip hop, and I love. Well, there's an artist that actually helped me through a lot of like struggles I was going through, and his name was Juice WRLD. A lot of people know who Juice WRLD is.
We talked. Did we talk about it?
No, we
didn't. We didn't, but we thought about it.
We thought about it, but we didn't.
But Juice WRLD, for those of you who don't know, is a extremely famous rapper who made music that was entirely for the purpose of healing someone's soul.
Yeah,
and it was rap that was actually influential. It was good rap music, just in general. He called himself the antidote of rap, the rap industry. And what he meant was that he was the antidote of all bad music that was in the rap industry. So people who made bad music, in my own opinion, is straight up, are people who are like Blueface, I don't know, Lil Pump, like those like artists who've said and clearly don't care about the music industry. They only care about the money. Juice WRLD was like somebody who truly like cared about people in general and cared about the energies of like human souls. And I love Juice WRLD to like death. I listened to so many of his songs on repeat. I had him on my ringtone multiple times. From Lucid Dreams to Robbery to Bandit to everything. I had him like all of my ringtones. Like he was like my most.
You think in a year or so, like they'll drop like songs he never released?
Well, I don't want that to happen because he's passed, right?
No, I know, but like say like because when an artist creates an album, they write like 20 songs and like 12 of them are actually released. So those other 8 songs just get like backlogged.
Probably, yeah.
Right? So like if there's anything like that, you think they'll ever release it?
Probably. But I don't feel like
the same thing happened to Michael Jackson. Like
he
had all these like songs in the vault, and then they dropped like years after he passed away, they dropped Escape?
Yeah.
They dropped an album Escape, and they had other artists like featured in the songs, but like they had already had everything recorded.
It was an honor for him.
Yeah, like they already had everything recorded. They just had like this other artist jump in for like 4 or 5 bars, and that was it. And I was like, I'm like, this is insane. Like,
this didn't do like with XXXTentacion thing, which is also another rapper who passed, unfortunately. But the only problem I hate with like releasing songs when they're like past is the quality of music isn't as good because it's not it's old music, and it's not like. I'm pretty sure if the artists were alive, they would have not released it, or maybe they would have changed it in a way that would have been better, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, with XXXTentacion, he released Skins, or his music producer released Skins, and it was one of his worst albums because a lot of the songs were unfinished, they were unpolished, they weren't good quality whatsoever, and it was one of his worst albums. And
no, I mean, of course, like refined, like right, you know, like if it were finished and it was like properly done, already, like. I remember there was an artist. Who was it? There was an artist who he passed away, and he had like a few songs recorded, like properly mixed and everything, like completely like ready to just hit the upload button kind of sort of thing. But he passed away, and then I think like a couple of years later they like released them, and then they're like, you know, and I remember when they asked his producer where they got the music from, he goes, just sitting there. We're like, what? Yeah, we've been sitting out for like the past like 7-8 years.
Yeah.
Like we just like his family was like, hey, we think the world should hear this. We're like, oh, okay, and we took it and then we threw it together and we were like, what do we call it? What would we call it? Like, what would we call the album? We came with a name. We're like, okay, and then we hit, and then you know, like it's just kind of like they're like it's the hardest thing to do, right? To make that decision, but at the same time, you know, most people do it for the family, you know, like because the family believes that whatever that person created, you know, the intent was for the world to hear it at one point, right?
Yeah, sure.
So like, why would you, you know, neglect the world from hearing everything, right? So like, I think that's one thing, but yeah, you're probably right. Like, if it's not refined and finished, like
it's not good, yeah. Because like I love Juice. I still listen to a lot of his music. I still listen to one of his songs called "Bandit" featuring NBA YoungBoy, like on repeat, nonstop.
It's one of those repeat songs.
Yeah, obviously. I'm the definition of a bandit. I don't know. Ever since I heard the song, banger, straight up banger. I love.
I don't want to get copyrighted. Calm down.
But I love Juice WRLD. Another artist that I truly did love in his music was, is Little Skies. Little Skies is also another artist who was kind of like in the same domain as Juice WRLD. He made like really really good like hip hop songs, but he also made like dark like sad songs that were
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he made like dark kind of like songs that also like catered to the public as well. Some of his songs were just amazing. One of them I think it was named Signs of Jealousy. Basically talking about, or like being jealous of one another, lust, going off. A lot of his music was really, really good. And he himself like released songs that were they're very like you could relate to it on like a personal level, right? Another artist was T Grizzly. I still listen to T Grizzly. He was one of my top, the 29 Spotify playlist where they show you that playlist, and they give you like these are the
like your most listened to.
Your most listened to. Mine was it was called Locked Up by T Grizzly, and it was, to me, the only reason I listened to it so much is because he was basically talking in the whole song about how his whole family was like locked up and like trashed and everything just like went bad for him, but then like the struggle. It had such an amazing beat and it just felt really emotional. It went from Locked Up, My Last Words by Dax, and Name in the Sand by Little Skies. Name in the Sand by Little Skies said was he released Name in the Sand when XXXTentacion passed away. He didn't actually intend to release the song at all. Wow. Because he said to his fans in a Instagram live story, I didn't want to release the song because I didn't feel like it was ready to put out for you guys. But he did once XXXTentacion passed away. And when everyone heard it, it was an amazing... It's basically like a very slow, sad dance song. Yeah. And for me, in general...
It just hit the moment.
Yeah, right? It hit the feels.
That one moment in time, right? Yeah. It's like... It just, there are those like... Yeah. And you know what? And that was it's rather interesting that he would say that, that to say that he wasn't ready to release a song like that. It's more of like, so it's like, it's one of those like, we need to make something to comfort the people, sort of mentality. And it's like, bruh, you hit the nail on the nail, is it? You hit the nail on the nail?
I don't know what you're trying to say.
It's just a reference from something else. Never mind.
Yeah, like in general, the music for me, my type of music is not like hardcore like rap that's, you hear like bass. It's my music is like very you could like straight up relate to it straight up. You can listen to it. The lyrics, music hits harder when you can relate to it. 100%. A lot of people can agree with this. You're listening to a song and an artist says a verse that is so that reminds you of.
Was it your generation of when we were in high school? Whenever I think it was your year of high school when. Someone played, I think it was 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton, and you all lost your minds of nostalgia. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
He's like, oh.
He's like, yeah. But it's like, songs like that, it's just this nostalgia factor, right? Because it's old and it reminds you of your childhood and stuff like.
I know the song was 7 years. I forgot who the artist was, but
Luke. Was his name Luke?
Probably.
Luke something. Oh my goodness.
But the song's called 7 Years.
7 years.
Yeah, it's old. Yeah.
Lucas Graham.
Maybe.
Lucas Graham.
Yeah, I don't know. Someone tell
us.
Someone DM me.
Somebody.
I'll look it up right now. I'll look it up right now. But yeah, it's crazy how music is one of those things. Did you see the? It's Lucas Graham.
Okay, so I got it.
You got it right.
I said Lucas Graham, then I went Lucas Graham.
I think it is Graham, actually.
Oh Same thing.
You're just dyslexic. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'm just dyslexic.
That's the real problem.
That's the real problem. I can't read. But I can read music.
To answer your question, it was like I don't play the music anymore, like in terms of like actual like music, but overall my style has always been towards music that people can relate to, and I've always stuck to it because artists who make relatable music it's even better when you listen to it. In general, when you know and understand an artist's feeling, because a lot of the time when an artist puts out a song, it's either for A, money, or for B, for the people to understand them. And when an artist doesn't do it for the money, but does it solely for the purpose of healing someone's soul or getting out a message that a lot of people just don't seem to understand, it hurts harder and it has a deeper meaning. And when you listen to it over and over again, maybe there's hidden messages that you like never, could have noticed before.
Like, what is it? Like, in my case, I listen to like everything except for country music.
I don't listen to country. Just in my opinion, I don't think it's like all the best, but like I'm very open to all types.
I am too, but like I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Like, and like all my friends like make fun of me. Like way back when I started college, I have like my phone on shuffle or whatever. And, like it would be like this song, all of a sudden, it'd be like I don't know, all of a sudden like it'd be like Eminem, and then it'd go like I don't know Maroon 5, and then it'd jump to like I don't know Mariah Carey, and then we jump again, and it'd be like J-pop, and then it'd be like what was it saying? And jump again, and it's like K-pop, and then it's like
K-pop is so good.
No, then jump into classical.
K-pop is so good.
Oh, I know, but it's like, but then like I mean, not to be racist or anything, but like obviously people are white, it's like, but it was stuff like that. But like my phone is like that all the time, and like Spanish music. Oh my goodness, the amount of like I got old classical Spanish music, new Spanish classical music. Like,
and you say you hate country.
No. Spanish music is not country music.
Yeah,
it's a different thing, man. Different thing. It's a different vibe.
Yeah,
it's a different vibe.
I hear you.
But
I mean, I'm into all types of genres. Like,
oh yeah, for sure. But
like a whole playlist is like when people see my playlist, they're like, "What type of music do you listen to?" I've listened to Dutch music, like Dutch rap, French rap, Japanese rap.
You know, the French are the ones who invented rap.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably with like the slang lingo.
Yeah.
The slango, I
you
said.
made
He's out here inventing new words.
I made the slang a slang.
The slingo. I was gonna say that. But I listened to it was funny because one of my friends, he was talking to me, he's like, I went through your playlist. Why do you have so many different types of music? Because I listen to K-pop, like French rap, Dutch rap, American rap, every types of kind. It's like, how do you listen to all these types? And I'm just like, if I think a beat is good, and if I feel the voice in the music is amazing, I'll listen to it and I'll put it in my playlist. And I do.
What Spotify has really changed the game for that.
Yeah.
Like before you were constricted by what you could buy, right?
Yeah.
Like you bought this one album, that was it, right? And that was the only.
That's the genre you listen to,
right? So it's like, but like I remember when Spotify came out, man, like I go through so much music. Like I was telling my sister, or what's my sister? I was telling somebody how like I consume music like I've been walking in the desert for 3 days and someone finally handed me a cup of water.
Really?
Yeah, like I go through like I go through so much music, man. It's insane. Like there is not enough music being created to sustain my ability to consume.
Yeah.
Like it is insane. Like,
yeah.
The amount of times like I've like people be like, oh, listen to this song. I'm like, I heard it like 4 days ago. Where you been? And they go, what? I'm like, yeah, like this is old already. Like I've already moved on to the next one.
I'm like, have you heard the song that just came out like 2 hours ago? And then you're like, what?
Like it's rare when that happens, but like also like it's hard to keep up with all these different genres, right? Because like especially for us, because like
we absorb everything.
Because we're Latino, right? So like every now and then my sister should be, hey, have you heard this new Spanish song? I'll be like, what new Spanish song? Like I'm in Canada. I don't know what's going on down south. Like I'm all the way up north. Right? So it's like stuff like that that's like she'll like I'll send it to you and I'll be like, okay, and then all of a sudden I'll listen to it and be like, yeah, it's alright. I mean, it's like stuff like that
I never really got tired of like listening to all the genres. My sister got me into K-pop. It was funny because like I was very, very young, but she got me into K-pop she showed me choreography of a K-pop dancing group. And it was BTS for a lot of like people who know who BTS is, Bangtan Boys, and she showed me a choreography of them, and then that's when I fell in love with them because their dancing was so clean.
Yeah, their dancing is
clean, and they're so cute. I'm a guy, but they're really, really cute.
It's like I just gotta say I'm straight.
I'm
but
straight. I'm 100%.
No, yo, it's like I have a friend. He's like, yo, have you seen those guys? Their skin is so flawless.
They are.
It's like it makes no sense.
K-pop boys are the cutest. I'm 100% straight. And by that I mean I love women. I love all types of women. However, K-pop boys, they're on a different type. They're actually they're perfection. Their skin is flawless. Like
he's having a heart attack over there.
It's true. I love K-pop boys.
No, honestly, you're voicing literally I think what every guy's always wanted to say. Like I love it. They just been too shy to say it.
I love it, man.
It's like no, it's
so true. It's true.
No, it's honestly like the amount of times like I'll be going through like like how people like One of the funniest things lately has been like I'll be going through Instagram stories and all of a sudden they'll just be like screenshots of BTS and I'll be like, I'm like, clearly this girl's obsessed with them.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, like he looked fresh though.
He is. And the only reason she showed me the genre, she showed me their music, and it wasn't because they were so pristinely looking. It was because of their music that was actually so. It was like it was had an American vibe in terms of the beat and the style and the melody.
For sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they were dancing, and the way like the song was created and what they were dancing to, it felt so good, and it felt like amazing to listen to.
It felt fresh.
It felt fresh, but not even just fresh. It didn't feel American. That's what made it feel amazing. Because it didn't feel American, it felt like a different type of like genre. That it
was like a parallel universe of American music.
Yeah, it was basically like that. It was basically if American music was reinvented and remixed into what K-pop was, and that's basically what K-pop is. Sometimes it's like singing and everything, but there are boy groups who release K-pop, hip-hop, basically just rap and hip-hop music videos, right? Yeah. And when I was watching the video, I would ask my sister, "Hey, do you know that song that was in the video and the last clip?" And she told me, "It's like, yeah, it's called Bepse, yeah." And I was like, "That's an amazing song." And I listened to it on repeat, and I'm like, "Who is this group?" She's like, "BTS. Do you want to listen to them some more?" I'm like, she gave me a whole list of songs.
K-pop's a trap.
Yeah, it is.
It's like when someone starts watching anime for the first time, right? You're like, "What do I watch?" You go onto the internet, and the amount of top 10 lists that have nothing in common with each other.
Yeah,
like there's like one for romance, one for this, one for that.
Action, comedy, drama.
We're really on that slice of life grind right now. We're like,
I've watched all types of anime.
Yeah, right? So like no, but like when you enter anime, it's like it's like this whole.
It's a universe. Yeah. It's like their own kind of like universe. Yeah. And anime. Well, I want to finish the K-pop first for sure. But I was just making parallels. We'll get to anime after. But K-pop, it was just really really amazing for me to understand what the genre was, and that was the second type of music that I started to listen to. And then my third was nightcore, which is basically like like it was basically just music with a higher pitch, with a higher like melody.
Yeah, I know what nightcore.
Same for the people that don't know, right?
Yeah.
But
just Google it.
But overall, it was just I loved the group, I loved the music, I loved everything about the culture in general, and so I started to just listen to K-pop more and more. After I listened to BTS, she sent me a list of songs. I started listening to more K-pop, and I became a K-pop fanboy. And it was funny because like a lot of girls nowadays, they love, they absolutely adore K-pop. They're literally so army.
Yeah, he's in high school. I think he knows.
Yeah. They're so like
he knows
they're really hardcore. You know?
Yeah, I know.
They're so hardcore. And then when you see a guy like me come out and be like, I love K-pop boys just as much as them, and I'm just as much as more army as you guys. Yeah. It's like, oh my god, you guys! It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm here.
I mean, there's bound to be like a bunch of other people too.
Yeah, you know? There's like the majority is girls. Yeah. The majority is like all women who love.
I mean,
you know.
I mean, but like you gotta understand like also like from like the perspective of like how like. It's like how you were saying, like, I'm a guy, I'm straight, right? It's like, you know, it's like that's really what it is. It's just all these girls crushing. Yeah. That's really what it is.
The majority is just all women, but I love just as much. Just because I love the music. I fell in love with the music before I fell in love with the boys. Yeah. I'm still straight, by the way.
We're gonna be like, so we think he's straight. That's what we're telling you.
I had so many questions of people being like, are you straight? And I'm like, yes, I am straight.
When I was in high school, okay, so I think I don't know if I told this story. When I was in high school, like some of my friends, like they're fairly good looking, and I remember this one time, this one guy's like, "So you gay?" And I go, "No." He's like, "Then why are you like handling like 3 really good looking people? You're not dating like not even one of them." Yeah. I'm like, "Cause I'm not." And they go, "But like why?"
It's like, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like, like I don't understand. Like
the human nature.
Like this doesn't correlate. Like you know, like they're like there's no like because that was the instant. Like I think it was also because like some of them were like pretty like some of the guys in my grade especially were like kind of jealous.
Yeah.
And they're like, and you could tell too like because of the way they'd ask the questions. It'd be like so like what's going on? I'd be like. No, we're just friends. Like,
we're just friends.
It's like you can't be friends with that person. Like that's physically impossible.
Now we're just friends.
Now we're just friends.
It's like chill out.
Right? Like yeah. And then so then like this whole thing was like, so you're gay? I'm like, no. Genuinely straight. Like it was just.
I had a lot of people ask me straight up because like even though I'm straight, I had a lot of like my girlfriends like ask me like a tendency because I have usually like boy like love thoughts, and I would always tell them like, so are you gay or you're just like bi-curious? And I'm like. And I would always explain, I am straight. However, I don't like if there's a really, really good looking guy, I will say that person, that guy, that individual.
That guy looks flat. That guy looks good.
He's like, I'm not scared to say that person is extremely fine. Like,
I always find that so interesting how like a girl, like whether she's straight or whatever, like if she's straight, not to say that's whatever, sorry. I apologize.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into all the details right now. But like, I always find that so interesting how like it's weird for a guy to say another guy's good looking.
Yeah.
But like if a girl says she good looking, like it's it's not.
Yeah, I understand what you're trying to
like,
say.
Actually, this one time when I was
standard.
It is. 100%. It is.
This one time when I was at the college, I found it kind of funny and kind of weird, but it was so interesting. These two girls were walking around holding hands, and on both of their shirts it said "We're straight," but like they're walking around holding hands, right? But it's like it's one of those things like you don't click. Like even if they weren't wearing the shirt, I'd be like, they're probably straight or whatever, right? Like I wouldn't like it wouldn't even like cross my mind.
It wouldn't be the first thought that they're not straight.
The question is, why are they wearing shirts that they're straight and holding hands? That's the question that I'm trying to think.
No, but it was more like
it's like
it was one of those like this is okay, like there's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
just
but like
please don't wear that shirt because my mind is like, wait a minute. You walk in the hall, you're just walking in the hall, just listening to music. You see these girls holding hands while their shirts saying they're straight. It's like, and then you start thinking about that for the next 30 minutes. Like, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but like that's like that. It's kind of like that. But like and I mean, like a lot of people, especially with me, because I've always been really good with little kids. And this one time, this one girl, she's like, so I just have this one question. Because I worked at a camp, and I go, okay, sure. Where did they find you? And I was like, what? Like you're better than kids than I am. And I'm a girl. I'm like, what are you saying? Guys can't be good. Like I'm like, this is like. I mean, like I get that. Like sometimes our gender, like like we fall into like specific categories. I'm not getting into all the sociology of it all. It's too complicated. Or the psychology of it all. It's just too. It's a mixed bag. Anyway. Yeah. But like I found that very interesting that like she called me out and I just like, why are you still good with kids? I'm like, I just am. Like
some people are just naturally good.
You know what I told her? I'm like, my parents want grandkids. I've already been told like they want grandkids.
I'm just getting ready.
I'm just practicing. Like, that's really what it is. But like it was interesting. I find that like I don't know. It's like I find things too. Like what was it? This one time, a friend of mine, he got a job and I gave him a hug, but like you could tell how awkward he felt about it, and he was like, yeah. Great. And he tapped my shoulder, like let go. And I was like, okay. But like, it's like, I don't know, like it's weird. Anyway, but yeah, we're running out of time. Wow. So you have enough time to ask one more question. You have 2 seconds to answer. Go.
Favorite anime. Go.
One Piece.
Of course.
Yeah, man. One Piece has been going around since I think you were born.
One Piece is the best. Okay, in my opinion, is one of the best animes that has ever been created with over 900 episodes and over 940 chapters that have been created. Did you hear that
it's going on hiatus soon? No, it's going on hiatus because the writer wants to take a break.
Yeah, that's fine though. Like, I'm completely fine with it. Like,
he said he'd come back, but he says he wants to take like a couple of years off and then he'll come back and finish it.
Well, is that even true?
There's a whole article about it like a couple of weeks ago.
Well, honestly, to me,
because he's been like, think about it, he's been writing like nonstop for like over 20 years now.
Yeah.
Give the man at least a break.
Give the man like a day to breathe.
Yeah. But he has days to breathe. Like he draws, but then he has days of break, right?
Of course, yeah.
But One Piece has always been my favorite anime because of the storyline and the plot. A lot of people who hear about One Piece, and if I say, what is One Piece? Oh yeah, it's an anime about pirates and da-da-da, right?
Yeah.
This.
The synopsis isn't good enough.
Yeah, it really isn't. Because the thing is like the synopsis just gives a breakdown of like
what the semi-world is.
Actually, you know what? The synopsis gives a sub-theme.
Yeah. Because like One Piece
all of the character development is like
insane.
It's like crazy depth.
Crazy depth. Like a lot of people just don't understand how in-depth One Piece is in general. And so like a synopsis basically just gives like maybe like a general overview of what the whole anime is. Yeah. However, but it's just not like it's not it whatsoever.
I love how I love going back and like seeing how the anime has changed. Like from the very first episode, like the quality level.
Yeah, the quality level.
To like now, it's like
it's pristine
night and day.
quality.
Night and day.
It really is.
You'd honestly think it's a different anime.
My favorite character in One Piece is hands down. Okay, well, because I work in market research.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So, because I work in market research, when I call people, and I always use an alias, and my alias is Ace, ACE, and Ace is the name of a character inside of One Piece, and it was in memory of him as a person.
Yeah.
So I always loved who Ace was, and his name was Fire Fist Ace. A lot of people who watch One Piece know who Fire Fist Ace is, right?
Okay, we're just like not. Yeah, everyone else.
Anybody who actually knows, everyone knows who Fire Fist Ace is if they watch One Piece, and so I was. Like, I use the name Ace a lot, and that's why, like, my name was from One Piece. So, my favorite character is Ace, and it's also Shanks and Katakuri, who are also sub-characters in the... And there's so many characters in the anime.
So many characters.
There's so many characters, but in general, having, like, one favorite among every single person, in my own opinion, it is Ace. So... because of who he is as a person and what he did in the anime. If a lot of you didn't watch it, but my top 3 in terms of anime are most likely One Piece. I would say maybe Classroom of the Elites, and
I was so upset that didn't get a second season.
Yeah, I wanted to get a second season, and
we should start a petition.
We should start a petition. I'm using the power of this podcast to bring it. We need it.
We actually need at the table. Watch out for my computer.
Yeah, so classically and
I'd say Code Geass or I always once people think of top 3, you need a top 3 that literally is like
he hasn't seen Code Geass.
No, I haven't.
It's extremely good mecha anime, more psychological. My favorite genre is psychological, but my favorite all time is One Piece, and a few other. It's hard to name the top 2 and 3, but number 1 is One Piece for sure because I followed it for so long because there's so many episodes, so many characters.
You feel you've connected.
Yeah, I've connected to my.
It's an emotional bond.
Yeah.
They have become one.
It's an emotional and human bond between the anime and I. So I truly love the anime. So what are your favorite animes? If you.
I don't want to get into that. We're really short of time. We'll tell you after. We'll make an episode.
We have a whole episode about it.
Yeah, you just go listen.
Where like I say how like I really like when I got into anime, I fell into that like trap where like I just like clicked on whatever. And when did we start watching?
Well, we started
I think we started with Naruto.
No,
we didn't start Naruto.
No, I started with Shaman King.
That doesn't count.
Okay, we started with
What was the anime that you started with when you first fell in love with the anime? If you did fall in love with the anime,
I want to say when I first fell in love with the anime, I'm gonna say Fairy Tail.
Really?
Yeah, Fairy Tail. Yeah.
Really?
Fairy Tail.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's odd. That's
odd.
That's odd.
Yeah, right?
That's really odd.
So like, but then I mean, anyway, but like I that's when I started. But like like it's like anything, right? It's a tipping off point, right?
Yeah, we went.
Then went to Naruto,
then we went to SAO.
Yeah, and I went to SAO. First season was great. Third season's doing pretty well. And then
I love how we just don't mention season 2.
Also, just like don't talk about it. But then it's like
Fairy Tail is one of the best animes in terms of I feel like song in terms of soundtracks. It has one of the best soundtracks.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And
honestly, like it's just some of the fight scenes. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they got like those. That was the appeal of it, right?
Yeah.
Because some of those fight scenes are just like
very, very like emotional.
Yeah.
Like,
but like also like it's really like it's all about friendship and like what you're willing to do for your friend. So like I remember there's this what is it like when they're at the spoiler when they're at the Tower of Heaven and Natsu's fighting for Ursa, and it's like that one more where it's like what he's willing to do with his friends, like turn and look at Victor and I go, yo, I need friends like this. I need friends to put their life on the line for me. This is the kind of friends I need. Where are these people at?
Yeah.
Like it was one of those ones, and like also like it really there are certain aspects of it. And there's all these like underlying tones to everything, right? Like, like you watch it, it's like, this is just gonna keep going.
Fairy Tail, I don't think like because you said Fairy Tail was the first anime I fell in love with. The first anime that I started falling in love with was Naruto. Mm-hmm. Mainly it is a general anime that a lot of people know, but like it was the first anime that I started and actually fell in love with just because I love Naruto, and then once I finished Shippuden, I was like, anime is really good. Now I want to move on to like
that happened to my father.
Yeah.
He started watching Shippuden when Naruto finds Sasuke in like the very first season. Where like they're face to face, and my dad walked across. He's like, just walked into the house,
and it's just like, what is this? He's
like, what is this? And then he sat down, and then we proceeded to just binge the rest of it with him. And then like it was like the other thing too was like we were watching it dubbed. Like I can't remember. Oh yeah, because of my dyslexia, like I oftentimes like because of the hassle of like reading subtitles or whatever.
Sometimes it goes too fast, or he reads it wrong.
Yeah,
I generally have not confession. I generally think people who don't like reading subtitles are people who just can't read fast.
No, like in my case, it's like it's more of like I don't want to like
Yeah.
you know like but like there's a ton of anime I've watched subbed.
Yeah.
It's just like I like if I'm it depends.
It's easier
it
on him.
It depends if I'm feeling lazy or not.
Yeah,
Like that's really what it is.
Like I always like watch it no matter what subbed. But
no, like it depends, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like well, what am I in the mood for? What is it? The heart-wrenching anime that I think I would say would be number 2 would be Violet Evergarden.
Wow, that's very true. Okay,
Oh
I'll
my God.
give props to that.
That anime just
props
like
to that.
yo man, that anime destroyed me. Like I cried so much,
I
so
agree.
many times.
I agree.
This
I
kid
was-
was like
I was
tears
like,
out, and I was
I'm
just
like, what is going on?
I'm
Oh,
tearing
no,
up here.
tears. Oh.
yeah, so, no, I think we talked about this with
Yeah,
Mac.
we did. We did talk about this with Mac.
With Mac.
Yeah, with Mac.
We talked about this with Mac, but it was
We talked about the 10th episode. 'Cause that's when you cry.
yeah. No. I mean, you
Well,
get teary.
You get teary, but
But
like
then
you cry.
The 10th episode, I was just like a waterworks, man. Like,
Yeah.
shit, waterworks. And I was like, what is going on? Like, I never, like, because a friend of mine, this girl who goes to college with me, her wallpaper is Violet Evergarden, like a picture of her, like, walking or whatever. And I'm like, oh, what is that? And we started talking about shit. Oh, you should watch it. Then I watched it, and I was like, dang, it's good. I came back, like, 4 days later, like, yo,
It's good.
I've been through like some stuff. Like
It's good.
I think I'm gonna need like a support group. Like I'm still broken from.
It's good.
Yo, and then what happened to like that studio's like headquarters? Like so sad.
Sadly, yeah, I heard about it, and it's not the best thing you want to hear in the world.
Oh, for
Because
sure. Yeah.
when a studio has created animes that have been all about emotion,
Yeah.
that hits harder than a lot of things. Because like when you, it's like basically like an artist in rap.
Mhm.
Anybody,
I like his tie-ins.
Yeah.
anybody who basically creates something solely for the purpose of emotions for
Yeah.
people, and anybody who creates music, art, create anything in general.
The arts in general.
Yeah,
for the
anybody-
purpose of sharing
Yeah,
emotion.
yeah. Purpose of just sharing emotions and connecting with a human soul in general. As soon as something happens to them or passes away, it's the saddest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because all the person wanted to see was try to help people.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
they, you know.
We gotta wrap up.
Yeah, we
We're-
gotta wrap up.
We're over. We're over our time. Usually we do 45 minutes, and we've clearly gone over. Long episode this week, I guess.
Yeah, so guys, this has been Two Latin Brothers podcast. You guys can go to the description. You find all our information there. You know, go follow us on Instagram, send us a message or an email. Send us a voice message on Anchor, because, you know, we want to do one of those Q&A episodes one day.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
It's your boy.
Do you want to shout out anything?
Shout out to my girl.
I mean, like,
Go
if you want
for
to
it.
plug yourself, this is the moment.
No, this is the moment to plug yourself and everything.
Shout out to my girl for always being there. I love her to death, and she knows who she is, and I always love her. She's been supporting me ever since we met, and so I love her to death. If you are listening to this, girl, I love you so much. Thank
Okay. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.
you. Peace.
Bye.